That's where we're going to kick off a little later in the show. But this morning we begin in Chappaqua, where within the next hour, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is set to answer lawmakers' questions about convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is a closed-door deposition. The former president will testify tomorrow. Both sessions will be filmed and transcribed. Keep in mind, the Clintons have not been accused of any wrongdoing, but they've also asked for public hearings. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian has more from the fallout.
Images in the Epstein files show powerful men like President Trump, former President Bill Clinton, and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates in undated photos with women. All three adamantly deny any criminal wrongdoing and have not been charged in connection with Jeffrey Epstein.
Every minute I spent with him, I regret and I apologize that I did that.
The Microsoft mogul apologized to the Gates Foundation staff Tuesday and admitted to having extramarital affairs with 2 Russian women, but added, "I did nothing illicit," in a recording obtained by the Wall Street Journal. In 2 2013 emails with the subject line "bill" that Jeffrey Epstein appears to have sent himself, the convicted sex offender said he had been helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with consequences of sex with Russian girls, including antibiotics to surreptitiously give to Melinda. Gates' ex-wife spoke earlier this month on an NPR podcast.
For me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage.
But the focus now isn't just whose names appear, it's what some lawmakers say isn't there.
It's very clear the evidence is pointing to these documents are missing.
The top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee is raising concerns that documents related to allegations by an Epstein survivor who accused Trump of sexual misconduct may be missing from the documents that were released to the public.
It's a survivor who has made serious allegations of the president, and that needs to be investigated.
Something another Epstein survivor, Elizabeth Stein, says goes beyond any one person.
Anytime that we find anything that could potentially be missing, we need to call attention to it, regardless of who it's about.
Nicole Killian, thank you. And joining us now to discuss more about this is presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. Douglas, good to see you this morning. Want to ask you about what kind of precedent this may be setting, because this is the first time a former president has been deposed by Congress since 1983. What does this tell you?
Well, it tells us we're living in deeply troubled partisan firing squad lines, and that the Epstein files case, the story, the conspiracy is not going away anytime soon. Today, we have the first woman in American history to lead not only the Democratic Party or any party on a presidential campaign, but she actually had won more popular votes than Donald Trump. She became a very strong and popular Secretary of State. Yet at the GOP right and Representative Comer, House Oversight Committee, the Clintons have been fodder for them since the 1990s. And so in a lot of ways, this harkens back to, Whitewater and then the Lewinsky issue. And now it's Bill and Hillary front and center of Epstein scandal, and I'm just not quite sure why Hillary Clinton. She's not in the files. There's no evidence that she was hanging out with Epstein. She knew Maxwell, so it seems like that this is a way to get some publicity for the GOP, and it's unclear to me why they wouldn't allow the Clintons to do it in an open forum instead of in a closet in Chappaqua.
So, Douglas, throughout American history, there have been other moments where presidents or former presidents have been asked or forced to give legal depositions. Richard Nixon in 1975, after he had resigned the presidency in relation to Watergate. Bill Clinton gave a sworn deposition in 1998 related to the Paula Jones sexual harassment lawsuit. And, of course, Donald Trump, who gave several legal depositions here. How is this different?
This is, in my mind, larger than Watergate, larger than when Nixon had to go through. Nixon, of course, resigned due to missing tapes. The famous 13, minutes, Rosemary Woods disappearing from the Watergate tapes, the public demanding we want all the tapes, the Supreme Court saying that Nixon didn't own his tapes, that they had made in the White House, that they belong to the American people. And you see now a large clamor. The American public are saying, release the Epstein files, quit playing games, release it all. Let's have transparency. We even have a Transparency Act. But alas, it's been from the Justice Department, and particularly Pam Bondi, a kind of strange twisting back and forth, drip, 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 missing pages. Certainly, Bill Clinton is part of this, and I think you have to differentiate him from Hillary Clinton. But Bill Clinton will be a significant moment when he's talking. But this story is going to move on, and it's going to, as it already is, beyond Summers or Gates, or it seems to be so many people involved with it, and it feeds itself as an ongoing conspiracy theory, concept, legal case of a dimension we have not seen. Watergate was containable. This is out of control, and it's global.
Douglas, as a historian, I mean, does it surprise you to see that in the United Kingdom, the British authorities have taken unprecedented measure when it comes to the former Prince Andrew, where now not only is he facing possible jail time, but, and this may not be a big deal to Americans or even Brits in the larger scheme of things, but to the institution of the monarchy, where there is discussion about removing him from the line of succession. I mean, in other words, you see other countries taking legal action against people that have been named in these files and who are alleged to have done criminal acts. And here in the United States, there's been very little on that.
Well, that's a good point. And, I think the monarchy survived for a long time, and he's probably going to have to be put aside. Either you call it a form of mental illness, but the prince's pedophilia is plain as day for all of us to see, and the royals are doing the right thing. Many people are doing the right things. Bill Gates, you just made an explanation at least. Summers at Harvard stepped down. But this is going to have a lot of scalps. This is not just Britain and the United States. They're all over Europe. But the bottom question that nobody understands is who's funding Epstein and why? How large was this? And in the United States, it's really only at the beginning stages until all of the documents, millions of pages, are released. There's always going to be clamor that things are being covered up by the Justice Department.
So much to follow here. Doug Brinkley, thank you.
Thank you.